Ricky, I want to ask you, first of all, obviously I know where the idea for the poem came from, but what inspired you to write it?
Poetry is something that I have always written from when I was a small child.
Mm-hmm.
This poem particularly was catharsis. It was me. It's kind of a narrative, I guess. It's me literally describing how I felt at the time. You know, the first two lines. I'm staring blankly. Frankly, I'm broken.
Mm-hmm.
I was sitting on my couch, staring at my fireplace, literally staring blankly,
mm-hmm.
and feeling broken. And I just felt like I needed to get my emotions out. I felt like I needed to try and make sense of the devastation I was feeling following on from being involved in the fire. It was just a natural process. It was written inside sort of 5 minutes. And
I was going to ask, how long after the fire did you actually sit down to write it, or was it just gestating in your head?
No, it wasn't. It was probably a couple of weeks after the fire.
Mm-hmm.
And I had no intention to write it when I started writing it. I was just sitting there, extremely distressed, reliving the night over and over again, and thought I need to write this down, and started, and it just sort of, for want of a better expression, fell out of me.
Okay, and did it help you deal with your distress?
It did help me. I think more importantly, it's helped a lot of other people since. It was received amazingly well in the firefighting community by both currently serving and retired firefighters. It's been received really well by the Grenfell community, and communities supporting it. I know Manchester actually has a very strong affiliation with the Grenfell community and has held silent marches here as well. So I was amazed at the response it received.
Excellent. And Roy, how did you first hear about the poem?
I think I just saw the poem online on Twitter. Okay. Ricky posted on Twitter.
Right.
And I read it, and people in the community knew that my partner Brooke and I were there and making ourselves available to do projects with people. The difference, there were lots of projects going on in the community, obviously, but there were mainly community projects, sort of drama therapy, this kind of thing. We just went and offered our services. We just said, we're filmmakers, we want to help, we want to facilitate and support the voices of those directly affected, so specifically survivors, bereaved, and first responders. And we made a case for art, and we made a case for films in a way that can help, because there's a precedent that it's had more of an impact on society than any inquiry or findings, actually.
Okay, and what's the initial response from people when you say art can help in this particular case? Are they accepting of that idea, or do they need to explain?
Initially, it wasn't a quick process. We were in the community for weeks, months, and trust is gained with a lot of hardship and lost very quickly. So the case I made at town hall meetings and community centres and mosques and churches is, I said, the Stephen Lawrence inquiry is the most comparable inquiry to what's going to happen at Grenfell, and there was a small play made. The play went onto a huge stage. It got put on the BBC. A quarter of the British population saw the film, and now it's in police training. Yeah. So every police officer has to watch it and understand that it was found that they're institutionally racist. Yeah. And I believe that had more of an impact than even the inquiry. Okay. So I was saying to them, do not dismiss the impact that you expressing yourself can have.
Okay. And Ricky, when Roy reached out to you about making the film, what was your initial response?
A huge amount of scepticism.
Oh, okay.
He was a stranger to me at the time, approaching me online saying, "Hey, I've seen your poem, let's make it into a film." My initial thoughts were, what's this going to cost me, and where do I sort of end up? Thankfully, I agreed to meet with Roy, and he's shown himself, along with Brooke, to be a wonderful human being. Yeah. And his direction was invaluable. His input, his contacts, everything that he put into the film was everything I could have ever hoped it would be. He's brought to life my most sensitive feelings through this film. I think it's incredible.
And it's a silly question to ask a man who literally fights fires, but did you have a nervousness about acting? It's not something you've done before, you know, being in a film.
Genuinely, it's easier running into a burning building.
To get, laughter now, I'm going to have to pivot into a very serious question about how you felt returning. I know that you shot around the Grenfell area. How did you feel returning to the area? Was that the first time you'd been back since that night, or how was it for you?
It's obviously a very emotional subject.
Yeah.
Not just for myself, but for anybody that was involved in it. Anytime I speak about it, anytime I watch the film, anytime I answer questions on it, it's an emotional thing to discuss. It's the most life-changing thing that's ever happened to me. I can't even begin to imagine how life-changing it was for the non-trained people involved, the people that live there, the people from the area, the people that literally watched relatives die from a distance. It's horrendous. I don't think, and I defy anyone to watch the film and not feel emotional.
Yeah. Roy, you, in fact, I think it was you, Ricky, who mentioned that it's been very well received by the whole community, the firefighters and the Grenfell people. When they first saw the film, what was their initial reaction to it?
We had a community screening at the Electric Cinema, a private community screening. Initially it was going to be a little bit more public and a lot of press there and so on, and we decided not to do that. It was really a profound experience. We had 3 short films. One film was featuring a survivor, one film was featuring 2 children who were bereaved, who lost their best friend, and Ricky's film. So it was a really healing, a really healing moment. It was just very, very moving. There was a lot of people coming up to us saying that they'd lost people, and that they felt that people seeing these films would make a difference.
Okay. I'll ask just one last question then. What can we as people do to help the survivors of Grenfell?
Go ahead.
The main thing are things like this. It's keeping it current, it's keeping it in the news. As Roy alluded to earlier, there's things like the Stephen Lawrence inquiry that took far too long to come to any form of conclusion. You've got Hillsborough that took far too long to come to any sort of conclusion, and hopefully through not just this project but many others that are taking place, through keeping it in the news, through keeping it on people's screens, through bringing the truth of the disaster to people's ears and eyes that maybe otherwise would have no business knowing about it. Yeah. There are still people that don't know about Grenfell, and I think that's incredible that something that size, on that scale, with that many real human lives that have been lost, that people aren't aware of it. So that's our hope, to bring awareness to it, to keep it current, and to continue to seek justice for the people of Grenfell. We've launched a Grenfell Voices Vivo channel, and the Firefighter is premiering at the festival tomorrow at 1 p.m, and then it will go live on Monday on Grenfell Voices Vivo channel. So if you just go on YouTube and search for Grenfell Voices, you can see all our films there.
Guys,
please share them. Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much for that.
Thank you.